Hi guys, hope you're okay. This is Daniel. So, in the UK, we're going into a second lockdown, and a lot of people have been feeling quite stressed about it. But I am here to give you my three tips that are going to help you get through this whole process. And I've called them the three R's just to be on theme a little bit. So, the three R's are realistic, restful, and resilient. So, in terms of being realistic, at the start of the whole lockdown period back in March, I was very much into conspiracy theories, still am. And I know that a lot of people had said that they expected this period to last maybe 12 to 18 months. So, in my mind, I wasn't really surprised when we had extensions to the whole lockdown period because, again, I was expecting it. And I think by being realistic about that, excuse me, it allowed me to manage my own expectations, not to get hyped up over the idea that things were going to be died down in several weeks. And then because of that, I was able to, relax into the whole notion of just being in the house and dealing with whatever was going to come up. But that wasn't really going to prepare me for the fact that living and working from home is a very, very tricky thing to do, especially when you're in a position of someone who formerly lived independently is now living with the family in the form of a mother and younger sister, using the dining room as a makeshift office and having to deal with the fact that people walk through there when you're making calls with meetings and you're trying to talk to people at work and then people are arguing over washing dishes. That is something that really does test your resilience, and having gone through that situation many times over, some of the ways I try to deal with that with my own family is by just having a conversation with them and letting them know that I have to really be in the zone when it comes to certain things and having background noise at a minimum. And it can be really tricky when people don't see things your way because, their retort might be that you are working from home in a home environment, so people have to accommodate that. And while I agree to a degree, it doesn't make it any less frustrating because it's not necessarily the fact that people are making that noise that's the issue. It's the fact that they, when you confront them about it, won't necessarily acquiesce and say, okay, I'm sorry, I can see where you're coming from. I'll try to be a little bit mindful of that going forward. So that will test your resilience. It's definitely tested mine. But the way I'm dealing with that is by thankfully getting a phone line put in my bedroom again because it seems like I'm going to be here for a while. And with that, I'll be able to have a separate desk. So I'll be able to manage my stress levels, which I think is something that leads nicely into the third R, which is relaxing. Because, again, I have said in the previous video that I have been very, very big on just slowing down during this whole time. I haven't really beat myself up over the fact that I haven't been able to exercise continuously for 6 months. And when I started again a few weeks ago, I was really happy to get back into the groove. But then I did myself a minor injury, which has led me to having the last 2 weeks off, which is really frustrating because now we've got this second lockdown coming up and I can't get back into the gym. So, yeah, I've had literally 2 weeks to heal myself, and now that I'm ready to go back, yeah, I can't do it. So, but what can I do? I can't do anything about this. I could get myself into a state and get really worried and anxious, but that's not really going to serve me or do me any favors when it comes to dealing with the way that I'm feeling emotionally. So, to relax, I think, is a really important thing because if you are able to go with the flow and just allow life to ebb and flow as it's meant to, what it will do is minimize the chance that you will get yourself into a state where you're going to worry about things unnecessarily. That's been the biggest takeaway I've had from 2020, especially now. I mean, worrying is not really going to do anything. You worry about the things you can control, the things you can't control, you don't worry about them. And I think if you stick to those three things, being realistic, resilient, you'll be able to ultimately relax. So, they're my quick thoughts on this particular cheesy topic. I'm so sorry, it seems like a bit of a contrived thing to say, but YouTube algorithm and yeah, just trying to actually have some sort of theme and semblance to this whole thing. But let me know what your thoughts are on these particular three R's. How have you dealt with your own relaxation, being realistic and resilient in your own lives? I'd love to hear your stories below. Thank you so much for coming this far if you have. I hope you're all well, and until the next video, take care and speak soon. Goodbye.